One thing that I struggle with is a room that is not fit for purpose, making it hard to maintain. And welcome to my dressing room, which is exactly that. And the first video in this series where I have plans to transform this room by DIYing it on a budget to make it functional and with a nice aesthetic. When I say a room is hard to maintain, for me that means it takes up too much energy, it disrupts my peace, and it gives me that niggling thought that it just isn't quite right and isn't fit for purpose and that something needs to change. I'm lucky enough to have a whole spare room that I can use as storage, in this case as a dressing room, and have a nice space to get ready, but I admittedly am not using this space effectively. It's a decent space, and for some reason I feel like I've not got a place for everything. Everything doesn't have a logical and functional home that makes the space easy to use. We've got unused floor space that's just being wasted, not maximising vertical storage, so we've got walls that could be better used. Keeping in mind, I don't have loads and loads of stuff. This is the space in my home that becomes untidy the quickest and the easiest, and it feels tiresome to try and keep it in order with things not having a logical and easy place to put them away. After the success of our office DIY, I want to take on this space next as my next project, and I want to DIY this on a budget, and I feel like this one's going to be a little bit more of a challenge technically. But before we can even get into any sort of designing and putting the ideas together, we need to know what we're working with. And to do that, I need to know what functionality I will want from this space, and I want to create a space that is fit for purpose for what I actually have and where, and so I can get it right without wasting money in the DIY process. And before I can do that, I am long overdue a wardrobe declutter. So that's what we are taking on today. I'm going to go through not only all of my clothes, I have these on a rail here, and I have a closet in the room as well. I also want to take on bags, shoes, accessories, makeup, everything that kind of goes on in this room, even down to the items that I currently have, if you like, to decorate this space, which are very few, admittedly, so that I can then design a room that is fit for purpose for what I actually own and keep after this declutter. So we better get on with it. So starting in this closet, which is typically where I keep dresses and coats. I haven't been through my dresses in a very long time, and since the last time I have gone through my dresses, there has definitely been a shift in my personal style, and I probably wouldn't fit them in quite the same way as I would have done a couple of years ago, so it's a good idea to go through these and pull out anything that I'm no longer going to wear. So immediately I've been able to pull out 5 dresses that I know I won't be wearing anymore. There are a few which I need to have a think about and see if I wear them over the coming months, because I have worn them more recently, but I'm not certain how much wear I'll get out of them in the future. And any clothes, shoes, accessories that I do declutter today that are in good condition, I will be popping on my Vinted so that I can try to get something back from the clothes that I declutter. So the first thing I've got is just this gold dress, which I bought to wear through a Christmas period, I would probably say 2 years ago, and I literally did just wear it through that Christmas period. Didn't particularly feel very confident in it, especially when I saw it back in photos. Sounds very shallow, I'm sure. When I tried it on in the shop, I didn't feel particularly bad in this dress, but when I saw it after, yeah, it did not make me feel good. So this is one that I think needs to go. My next one is this one, which is sort of bright orange, green, yellow, very fitted dress, and I actually didn't buy this one, my friend did, and when she was having a declutter she gave me a whole bunch of stuff. If I wanted to try it then I could, and this was one of the ones I kept, but I have never actually worn it. It looks nice on, but there's never been a time when I've picked it out and actually worn it. So I've had this in my wardrobe probably for over a year, waiting for an opportunity to wear it, and that's just never come up, so we're going to get rid of that one. I've then got this one, which is just a green long sleeve dress, but it's very short, and whilst I did wear it last Christmas, and it's actually done quite a few Christmases, I do feel like I'm coming to the end of my short dress wearing era. And then in a similar vein, I've got 2 sort of bodycon, very clingy green dresses. This one is more of a summer one, and I have had plenty of wear out of it over the last few years. I think I've probably had it for about 5 or 6 years, and this one probably the same length of time but fewer wears, because I think the darker green is more tailored to sort of Christmas time. They've both been well worn, but I'm sort of not into this style anymore. I don't wear many sort of clingy, very tight fitted clothes, so these can go. And as I said, there are a few other bits. I mean, there's plenty of stuff in there. There are a few other bits. I just need a bit longer to work out whether or not I will let them go, and that is absolutely fine. I always say with pretty much any of my declutter videos, as someone who's gone through a major decluttering phase in their life, don't feel like you've got to jump on it immediately to get all the stuff gone straight away. Take your time and think about it, because the worst case scenario here is you declutter something you actually need, and then you either regret the declutter or, even worse, go out and spend money to replace that item when you had it already and you'd already bought it once. So there's no rush in this. Take your time to think about it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with some of my dresses. And I've also got coats in here, and this is quite easy because the only one I know I want to declutter is this one. This is a black sort of puffy coat, and definitely one I bought when my style was very different to what it is now, and so I don't feel like I would be comfortable reaching for this anymore because I don't feel confident and like my best self in it. There is still plenty more to go through in my wardrobe in terms of shoes, bags, all sorts, but we'll stick with clothes first. The clothes on this rail are my most worn clothes. Typically the clothes I wear for work are out here. However, they are mixed by season. For example, if I take you with me, these skirts are all sort of thicker wool skirts, and so I've not been wearing those since the end of winter, maybe a little bit at the start of spring, and so it's not necessarily that they need decluttering, it's just they haven't had the amount of wear because we've been in spring and summer. So I will be decluttering with the fact that I do mix my wardrobe up throughout the season, so not everything I've not worn recently will need to go, but there will be some bits I can pull out of here just because I haven't worn them or my style's changed, and come the next autumn winter season I probably won't be reaching for them. And we've got 5 items again. So the first being this skirt. I love the pattern of this skirt, but the fit isn't great and it is super, super short. And if you're like me and tend to be wider in the hips and narrower in the waist, it just ends up riding up and revealing way more than one would necessarily like. So that one's going to go. I've got this little cropped vest top. To be quite honest, I don't wear vest tops as tops anymore. The only time I will is under something if my shirt is like a little bit see-through. With it being cropped as well, I don't very often go for a cropped vibe, so that's another one that can go. This one is just one I've not got much use out of lately just because it's simply not my style anymore. I've got an old pair of white trousers that are basically one of 2 pairs. I have this one, and then more recently I got a higher quality pair of white trousers, and I don't feel like I need more than one because I wouldn't get that much wear out of them. And I don't feel like I need more than 1 pair of white trousers, and because these are the poorer quality of the 2, I think it's time to let these go. They've also slightly discoloured from having lots of wear in the past. And then some of you might remember these. These were some shorts I actually altered myself. I made the waist elasticated so that I could continue wearing them and so that they fit, because after I lost weight they were then too big, but at the time these were one of my favourite pairs. But sort of the clunky metal on the front and just the style of these shorts, they're very short at the back as well. I think we're looking at younger Charlotte era here, and it's time for these to go. Sticking with the theme of clothes, we have got this dresser here, which is absolutely full. It's in some sort of order, but every drawer's a mess. And I'm really trying my hardest to not make a mess in the room. You know, when I've done declutters before and everything's been all over the place and it's more of a tidy up job than it needs to be. The worst one is the bottom one, which is all like my gym clothes and exercise clothes. And honestly, I think the only way we're going to be able to do this is by getting it all out. From this drawer I have decluttered all of the padded inserts from sports bras. I don't even think I owned all of these sports bras anymore, and I don't honestly know why I kept all of these. What I have done though is kept one nude and one black pair, just in case. I know we should avoid the just in case, but at least it's not all of these. I've then got these two white sports bras. These are the sort that come in a pack. They came in a pack of 6 where you got 2 black, 2 grey, 2 white. I've kept 1 black and 1 grey, and at some point over the years the others have vanished. But the white ones have really discoloured, and to be quite honest, they're not very supportive. And if I'm doing light exercise, I can get away with these, but I'd usually wear them under another top of some description, but I don't want to keep the white ones anymore. I am going to get rid of this. It's kind of like a cropped, hooded top in purple. Again, mainly for the cropped reason. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't reach for it because it's cropped and because I don't really like to have this part of me on display. I've then got a pair of gym leggings, and just to sort of keep my numbers reasonable as to how many pairs I keep and to sort of help me decide which to keep and which to let go of, because I do have more than I need. I've kept the ones that are full sets, and I'm letting go of these because A, they're slightly too big and I can't be doing with the whole needing to pull them up all the time because they're riding down, and because I don't have the top part of this anymore. It was easily my most worn set, and as a result it just eventually wore out and the straps came detached on the top part, so we'll get rid of that. And one I never thought I'd say, some of you might remember this too, very well worn, chunky white hoodie. This was what I would wear when I really wanted to hide. When I was first going to the gym or first exercising and I just did not want to be seen at all, and this was that. But of course, after plenty of wear, something that's white is not coming perfectly white anymore. After the amount of time it's spent on the gym floor, it's got marks that just will not come out. And again, I don't reach for this anymore. It's too heavy to run in, it's very clunky, and it's too big now, so this can go as well. So just making a little bit of space. You're probably noticing these aren't massive declutters in each area, but these few items here and there pulled together. It'll be good to get the items I'm not using out of my space so that when I come to design the space I do want, it will be fit for purpose. In these other drawers I've got jumpers, again not very tidy, but will be organised. I've been through these. These are all jumpers I will wear in the winter, so that was good. But I only had ones that I'll actually wear. Nightwear in here is all fine. Undies in here, all fine, and I don't need to show you that. And then in this drawer are just a few of my riding bits, like jodhpurs, and tops I only wear for horse riding. So actually, nothing more to do here. It will need sorting out, but in terms of decluttering, nothing else to go. And the last little place in here that I've got clothes is this little bottom drawer here that you can't actually see, and that's things like leggings, vest tops and whatnot. So I'm just going to quickly go through all these bits and see if there's anything I don't need. I've got one grey vest top that still has the tag on it, and I've had this for years. It was one of those just in case purchases like a very long time ago. The fact that I've never worn it, but it has somehow gone through every declutter and I've gone, oh, I'll keep it just in case. So I think it's time. It can go. And then I've got 2 pairs of plain black leggings, which I can't remember the last time I wore them, and so I'm probably not going to need them anytime soon. Shoes next, and I did not realise how many pairs of shoes I actually owned. And shoes are one of my biggest problems right now because I've been storing them under here. Just on little plastic, they're under the bed storage container lids, so I can just pull them out. But for me, it's almost like too much effort to be like digging under here looking for them and putting them back, that I end up with shoes just dotted around my room. So I think now requires me to be a little bit brutally honest about which I don't wear, regardless of all those just in case moments, because there are shoes here that I genuinely haven't worn for ages and will probably go. And then there's easy ones that I wear all the time, so there are a few that I know I can just keep. These, as much as it pains me to say, probably need to go. These are my Timberlands, which I bought, I probably want to say about 2013. Probably tell by the bottoms in that there's nothing on them. They must have been worn twice, ever, in that time, and I love them. I bought them in America, and so I think that's why I'm sentimentally attached to them. I changed out the laces for pink ones, and I just thought they were really cute, but as I've said, I rarely wear them, and I don't think I'm going to now, so I think it's probably better that I let them go. They're very big and clunky and take up a lot of space, so maybe it's just time. These can also go because I have 2 pairs of gold shoes. These are so comfortable for heels, amazingly comfortable, and so I will be rocking those as my gold shoe for as long as they still exist and haven't fallen to pieces. These with the whole glitter effect, that's not really me. These won't get worn and those ones will, so we might as well get rid of this pair. These can also go. These are just little glittery ones. They are very well worn. I've got lots of wear out of them, but can safely say I've not reached for them in the last year, and so it's highly unlikely that I will. The whole rainbow glitter vibe is just not really what I'm going for anymore, so these can go too, as can these. These were a just in case keep. Last time I would have decluttered and I haven't needed them. The just in case never came around, so if I don't need them now, I probably won't need them. I also don't wear anything that's sort of trainers or a casual shoe as my like everyday footwear, with the exception of this one white pair, which, albeit they do need a bit of a wash, but they're kind of like a smarter white trainer. I more often than not will wear some form of shoes or boots if I'm anywhere that isn't the gym or exercising, so it's unlikely that I'm going to wear those anymore. Ooh, definitely going here next. These were well worn at the time, but haven't been worn, I would say, in about 2 years. They are just wedges, and these sort of tie up around your ankles and you can put bows on them, but I don't wear them, and so there's not really much point in keeping them. These I'm going to keep for now, but they won't last much longer. I've talked in the past about how I wear boots to death because I will wear the same pair of boots to work day in, day out, all through the autumn and winter. These have done 2 autumn winter seasons now, but they're a bit dusty because they've obviously not been worn through the summer. They are really scuffed, really well worn, and they've got to the point where the heels have started to do that thing where they tilt inwards, so I will keep them going into this autumn, but then they'll probably need to be decluttered after this season because they are starting to look a bit untidy. They're very comfortable, but when they reach a point where it's quite clear that they are well worn and worn out, it will be time for them to go. So I'll keep them for now, but I will wear them out and then they will be gone, which is why I'm not decluttering my second pair of boots, because I guess these ones can then take over when these wear out. I just don't like these as much as these, but if I keep these when these wear out, it will save me buying another pair and wasting money, so I'll just move on to those. Things like this, they're also very well worn, but very easy to slip on if I'm not going very far and the weather's warm enough. I think these can go. I like them, but again, they're becoming well worn, and of late I've barely got any wear out of them. I would say I've probably worn them once in the last 3 years, so these can go as well. But to be quite honest, the rest I think I still use enough that I would keep them. Next up, I've got these storage boxes that just live at the top of my wardrobe with all sorts of bags, accessories and whatnot in them, so it's time to go through these and decide if anything can go. I feel like already these are quite minimal and there's probably not a lot in here that needs to go. I've managed to reorganise these into, if you like, sort of sentimental clothing I don't wear but want to keep. This includes like my university sweatshirt, some concert t-shirts from when I've been to concerts, and a few Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts. Those of you that have been around for a while may remember I got the majority of my Hard Rock Cafe t-shirts made into a blanket, but I did have an uneven number so they couldn't all be put into the blanket, and so just the leftovers are in here. So that's all of that stuff in here. Middle one is bags, and then this one is basically all other accessories. We've got swimsuits, hats, an umbrella, and like my winter scarf and stuff. I only own one winter scarf and one pair of gloves. Those are in there, so I know where to come for those when winter rolls around, and as a result I have emptied one of these boxes, so that's good. That's one less that we need. Oh, I forgot to put my fascinator back in with my accessories, and that just has to go on top because it's quite delicate. Things to get rid of include a Michael Kors bag. It is just a little gold backpack, very Charlotte of, I don't know, about a decade ago now, but not something I will reach for anymore, so that is on the declutter pile. I've also got a gold Michael Kors purse. I've kept this for a very long time, but I do not need a purse this big. I don't think I even have a bag that would fit a purse this big, so it's time to let that go. And as well, I've also got a red Radley purse, and red really isn't my colour, so it doesn't very often get used. I've also got sort of play suit, which I initially bought to wear sort of poolside as a cover-up, but I have another cover-up, so I'm just going to keep the one. I've got some old luggage tags, so they can go, because my set of suitcases have matching luggage tags, and so they were the old ones on my old suitcases. I don't need any more. I've got some old Primark silver jewellery. I'm assuming I bought this for some sort of fancy dress and never used it, so they can definitely go. I'm not going to wear those. I found in there a pair of like beach sandals that I'm not going to wear. They can go. And a cuddly toy sloth happened to be in there. That can go too. And my last little bit to go through is all things hair, makeup, nails and so on. I'm going to leave makeup till last, and yes, all of my makeup now fits into one makeup bag, except eyeshadow palettes, obviously. I'm still going through the same 6 palettes I have been since 2020. And earlier, actually. It's ridiculous. Also, this bag really needs a wash, so we'll go through that in a minute. But other bits I've found, one of these things that you use to put your hair back when you're doing your makeup, I don't bother with that anymore, so that can go. I've got one of these like bun donut things. This was a set of 3, and this is the only one I have left. And I don't know why I kept it when I got rid of the others, because this one's too big. I don't have enough hair to cover this. I have very fine hair. So I have to use, instead, the way I've done my hair today, is with one of these, which are like the old snap bracelet things, but you can bun your hair in it, but, oh, 1 minute. But this one has just snapped over time, as in there is an actual snap. Oh, I'm not doing very well. It's a good thing it was on the declutter pile. This one actually broke. Again, a set of 3, so I've still got the other 2, but if it's broken, there's no point in keeping it. I've then got loads of old nail polishes, which the most of which are either like mostly empty or dried up. No point in me keeping those, simply because I don't do my nails anymore. I keep them neat and tidy and trimmed and just go for a natural look. And if I want to have my nails done nicely for an event, which, if I'm being real, would probably happen at most once a year, I will go and get my nails done. That will be a treat for that one event. I've then got 4 nail glues, which can't actually get the lids off because they're old and they've dried up. And all the leftover nails from when I've bought nail kits, and then for some reason I've kept all the sizes that don't fit my hands, which I will never use, but it almost felt like too much of a waste at the time to throw them away. So, nail kits that don't fit. 1 sticky clear lip gloss. In here, I've got all of the makeup brushes that aren't in my main everyday use bag. Again, I kept them last time just in case, and I've not actually reached for any of them, so I'm not even going to waste my time looking through it. I'm just going to say I don't need them, and they can go. I've got 2 roll-on deodorants that stained loads of the underarms of my shirts, which not ideal. I have a lot of white shirts, and I'm now battling with getting those stains out, so I've changed my deodorant and it's stopped the problem, so it was just this one in particular. And then we've got my makeup bag. So I'm going to go through and pull out all the things I use every day. Then I've got things like an eyelash curler, which I don't use every day, but it's my only eyelash curler. And when I want to curl my eyelashes, it helps to have. I've got an old cherrybalm.com. I think it's probably time this goes. Oh dear, I almost don't want to show you this. This is what I think we call the forgotten sponge at the bottom of the powder coated bag. I think that can go. And then I've literally got things like hair bubbles in here that have just sort of got lost at the bottom. A couple of cuticle oils, which I'll keep. I quite like that sort of thing for looking after my nails. And then a lot of powder covered hair grips, which I think will probably need to go. And then the bag itself is just a bit grim, but to be quite honest, I could probably just put it in the washing machine and clean it. So actually in my everyday makeup stuff, there wasn't a lot that can go. That's quite refreshing. That's quite nice to know that the stuff in here is stuff I use on the daily. So that's all good. So we've got a little pile of bits here which we can declutter. And I'm just going to pop these back in. Just got eyebrow pens and lip liners, mascaras, powders and bronzer, 2 lipsticks. That was all nail stuff that I took out. A concealer and eyelash curler. That's it. Ooh, that's nice. Much lighter. Half of that stuff was just nail stuff in the wrong place. And then the only other things to really consider are decorative items around this room, of which there aren't really a lot. I can see here I've got this little candle which was a gift, and it's just in sort of a patterned container. Can I open it? There we go. It's never been used and it's just sort of on the side as a place to put it, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. I'm not attached to it or anything, so that can go. And then I've also got a wax warmer that is in here, but I'm never in this room long enough to light one of these to have it melt to then scent the room. So I think I've used it once ever. And again, this was another item I didn't buy. A friend was decluttering this and I said I would give it a second home, but it really isn't making use in this room. And I've got plenty of other warmers throughout my house, so I don't think I need this one as well, so this can go. Other than that, I've got a few plants that can either stay in here depending on how I redesign this room or be relocated to another place in the house. And I've also got 3 books kind of just acting as a decorative thing here, but they are 3 books I would like to keep, but I think I'll put those on my bookshelves now in my office. And so I will spin you around and I will show you all of the things on the declutter pile, just so you can see that all of those little bits together actually do make, not for a massive declutter, but a good dent in the number of items that I've got. And so as I said, I'll flip that around and we will bring the video to an end there. And at some point I will get around to filming the planning stages of what this room is going to become, and we will get started on our next big DIY project. Thanks again for watching. I will see you in another video very soon. Until next time, take care. Bye.